Chris is in the house.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jamie. I'm Chris. Have a background in various methods of animation, filmmaking, from stop motion to previs, environment artist, and also now leading a virtual art department team. How you doing, man?
Very good. You look very suave, Chris.
Thank you.
What shirt's that? It looks like a.
It's got like little laurels on, like little.
Oh,
It's
nice.
like I am an Academy Award. It's good.
Brilliant, man. Have you got one of those fancy Google cameras that follow you where you go?
Yeah, it's really annoying though. I don't know how to turn it off because I had it set up perfectly on FaceTime, but now it's messing with all the angles.
The world of A Study in Scale. Just talk to us a little bit about what the project is, and was it meant to be in Unreal Engine, and if not, why did you choose Unreal Engine, or was it, how did that start?
That was a kind of a byproduct of the main film, A Study in Scale, which I completed for the Unreal Fellowship. We had 4-5 weeks to create a short film and also learn very intensively Unreal Engine. So it was a case of trying to find a story that I could achieve in that time and also kind of use to pinpoint certain methods that I wanted to try out, and then to kind of still have a coherent narrative at the end of it that could pass off as, a short film. The world of came after that because there was just some areas of the environment that I'd made that I just kind of wanted to keep going with it. I just wanted to show off some of the areas that you don't quite get to see on the main film. Plus, I was riding this high of just creating this film, so I just wanted to kind of keep learning and keep going, keep trying out these different methods and the camera moves, that kind of thing, the cinematography of it.
So your experience with Unreal Engine, you'd done, was it the Fellowship of the Ring, and then Fellowship of the Ring? I'm talking Lord of the Rings here. The Unreal Fellowship, you'd done that first. Was that is it 4 weeks training that?
Yeah, it was September 2020. I had been learning it before then, so I was actually in the midst of very, very beginner steps. But once I did the fellowship, that obviously really just boosted the learning, and we just had 4 or 5 weeks to just spend every day learning it. And ever since then, actually, apart from a few months, I've been using it every day ever since then. So it's drastically changed my career path and the tools I work with for the better.
It'll be really interesting to talk about, because your background is, well, from what I've worked with you in the past, a lot of previs. I'm presuming now you wouldn't go back.
We still use Maya every day. We still use the tools. I'd say the only tool I don't use as much now is Nuke, because we can do a lot of what we need to do in Unreal, and also we're trying to kind of keep it out of Unreal for the sake of the the goals of what we want to do with the LED walls and and the filmmaking side of things within Unreal. Sure. We're trying to keep it as real time as possible, but yeah, we still do animation in Maya, still do assets in Maya, texturing. We're kind of doing Substance now, and we've got artists working in Substance. But yeah, so a lot of it Unreal, and it's kind of like the end. It's like the end user. It's like the end destination. We're still creating all the assets in all these other projects.
So for the world Study in Scale, can you just talk about that pipeline, because that was just you working on that, wasn't it? That was a personal one.
So the pipeline for those pieces were actually fully Unreal for the purpose of the course and for the purpose of the filmmaking in that kind of medium. Coming from previs as well, I did have that kind of previs mind of like kit bashing. I'm not an asset creator in any way whatsoever, so I was very happy to go on the marketplace where Epic has amazing resources for this kind of thing. Because I've done environment work before as well, you've really got to try and think of things in a realistic manner. If I imagine this place, would this place have these type of rocks? What would the terrain look like? What would be at the bottom of hills? Are rocks falling down? Is anything gathering? So you're thinking about sediment, you're thinking about gravity, you're thinking about every kind of realistic notion of nature that you possibly can do for the assets you have, and then kind of choose from those. Another really good tool I used was, so along with bringing in ready-made assets, was to actually dug into learning the materials in Unreal and how to make blended materials, where you can literally create a stack of different materials that you can literally just paint in onto the ground.
I've seen that, yeah.
Quick to learn as well, a really quick way to learn something that really just pushes that realism and that natural feel to it.
Yeah. And so I guess you had to do a lot of reference images just to like look at what is realistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've got to kind of pick the biome. You've got to pick your environment, where it's just kind of like pick a place in the world that you think would suit best, and then kind of go from there. So like South American rainforests, where I was looking at lots of.
I bet you're an expert now, Chris, on those type of rainforests.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, a lot of it as well was actually trying to cover the space. So with that kind of previs mind and that filmmaking mind, I want to kind of still create a contained area that I didn't have to worry about what's happening like 5 miles away.
Yes.
Or worrying about big vistas, that kind of thing. It's the first time having real-time reflections and real-time light bounds and this kind of thing. So I really wanted to play with the light, how the light plays with the ground, this kind of thing, and create that contrast as well. And I was trying to use the reflections of the puddles, of any kind of water elements or highlights to kind of punch that contrast in.
I guess that's the real power of working in an engine that gives you real time.
Also, we were able to create presets for real lenses, real cameras, and being able to see everything in real time just helped that along. So there is a physical crane as well. There is a jib in there. You can connect the camera to the end of the jib, and then you can control the camera's rotation with an iPad.
Is that what you did with this project for some camera stuff?
For some of the shots, yeah, absolutely, yeah. There was a few shots where I specifically used the VCam. One was it's in the main film, a study of scale, where it's meant to emulate this crow kind of following the lady. This one, I wanted it to feel like it was a point of view from something. We don't quite know what it is yet though. So I used the VCam setup to kind of literally I just did a load of takes of the camera just kind of jumping around, and really kind of made use of the camera shake, this natural camera shake that I could get from using the virtual cameras.
So you channeled your inner crow?
I did indeed.
Some might say. Moving on to the next one, the Awakening, the snake. Can you just briefly touch on about that project, how it came about, and the reason for Unreal Engine? These
short films that I was working on after the fact were a product of just wanting to just keep learning.
Nice.
The fellowship had finished. Everyone was furloughed during the pandemic, so I still had some time on my hands at this point. So what better way than just to keep going and just to keep creating? I had the idea just to, whilst I had this free time, was just to try and essentially create some short films under a minute. I called them 50-second films.
Yes.
And this was just these were just quick studies with just a very simple narrative, just to create achievable projects which I could get a tangible output from relatively quickly. So I essentially gave myself 2 weeks to hit the deadline for these projects. And the idea was, what can I just accomplish in this time? And I found a great way of achieving this was to find one good asset and just to kind of work around that. So for this one, I saw the snake on the marketplace, and I was just like, I've got to have that. That's just like some really cool snake. And again, I kind of chose the biome, which was like a Texas or like a rocky tundra desert kind of feel to it.
Yeah. So yeah, 2 weeks from start to finish. And did you storyboard it, or did you just? What was the workflow on that type of project with a character?
Well, the first film, A Study in Scale, I'd say that's the main one. This was storyboarded from start to finish. I had a definite idea about this one. The idea was we kind of go from the ladybird to the crow to the female character, and then again at the end to the leviathan, with just kind of this increase in scale. That was storyboarded. That was very well thought out in that time. The secondary projects that came after that, didn't really storyboard those ones. I was just kind of winging it for these ones. I just kind of wanted to just channel all my energies at that point into learning Unreal. So essentially the story for that was the snake sees a fire, the snake goes towards the fire, the end.
Oh, no, that's great. And I guess it's a brilliant way to, like you say, learn and practice skills and overcome obstacles, and just best way to learn is to just do, and that's a great example of it. Was there any issues along the way that you encountered on that project? And as real as it can be, like, something kept crashing, or the snake was being an idiot.
Yeah, no, there was a lot on that one. One thing I think, the Unreal fire out of the box doesn't look so great, and I think that's the point I decided it was going to be more a previs-y kind of look, like a high quality previs, because I didn't want to spend the energies trying to create hyper realistic fire in that time that I'd given myself to do this project. That was one issue.
What version did you do this in?
I think that was 4.26.
Is it Niagara in 5 that's got, like, I'm sure there's like actual assets for, maybe it's because it's version 5 that are like actual.
This was the legacy. Yeah, this was from the legacy system. This was from the starter content using the legacy system. So yeah, so it was essentially just what can I drag in and use at that point. I'd spent all my money on the snake. So.
Okay. How much was the snake, out of interest?
Oh, I can't remember now. It wasn't much. I think.
And will you reuse it in the future?
15 to 20 pound. Yes, I will actually. If I get
it's a great looking snake.
That's the idea. Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, I'd love to use them again, because one afterthought on this project was to use the ray tracing. At that point, it was still quite hard to set up the ray tracing. You had to change everything yourself, and you had to put in a lot of console commands to get like the best out of it. So. I was still using dynamic lighting for that. This was before Lumin and Nanite, so this was just the straight up movable dynamic lighting. So everything was real time, but it was the legacy lighting system essentially, which looked great for the majority of it. But there was this shot at the end where I wanted to zoom into the snake's eye, and I wanted to see the fire reflecting in the eye.
Nice.
But I could only achieve that with the ray tracing, which at that point was still, as I say, quite hard to set up. You had to change the RHI from DirectX 11 to 12, and then you had to set everything up a bit more manually. Whereas now it all just kind of works, which is great, and just adds to that speed of iteration and just that speed of just being able to create more ideas.
Moving on to the Wolves, the Arctic Journey one, was that a similar? So that was a 50-second piece, similar to the snake one. Did you buy the wolf? Was it from the marketplace? What was the process involved in creating that story? Because was that another sort of previs type approach, similar to the snake one, or? Yeah,
correct. Yeah, this was inspired by my wife's trip to Alaska in January a few years ago. So we went in the middle of winter to Alaska essentially, and I just really wanted to recreate that in Unreal the best I could. The wolf was free. You might be able to tell if you look close enough.
It works great though. I mean, for a pack of wolves running through the snow, there's some really nice camera shots. Was you on the trip with Unreal Engine knowledge and thinking, I want to make short film?
No, this was before I knew Unreal Engine could be used for filmmaking. So yeah, this was purely way before that.
Yeah,
I think it's called Magic Map 4, which created that environment, and we were able to, with this plugin. It was able to procedurally create these biomes. It would give you the snow. You could play with the snow presets and tweak everything. Yeah, it's a really nice one. Magic Map 4, I think it's called.
And that's just for world building of an environment. Can you do?
It is. I did find it quite limiting though. I was expecting more and ended up getting a license for Gaia from Quad Spinner, which has just, for me, blown everything out of the water for environmental design, and that's what I use as a standard daily tool now. This is just the top. Amazing. For environmental creation. Yeah.
Would you ever recreate such project?
I've started doing that. It's I've actually started doing that. I've imported those 3 projects that I gave you into UE 5.1, nice. And I'm currently transcribing all those shots. I've changed the whole lighting setup in all of them to Lumin. I've replaced all of the assets that I can do with the nanite, and using the new nanite feature for foliage. Instances, which has kind of sped things up a little bit, but not too much, because I've just replaced everything for a lot more lighting complexity. But yeah, the difference is night and day.
Do you reckon you're going to get that shot with the reflection in the eye? Is that going to happen, or are you?
That's going to happen now. Yeah, brilliant. That's 100% going to happen.
Amazing! I can't wait to see it, Chris. That sounds very exciting.
Yeah, the difference is incredible. Amazing. From what I've seen. Yeah. Yeah, one thing about the newer Unreal Engine versions that I've really enjoyed using is the color management options that we now get. It fully incorporates the OCO color management profiles. So now we can export all the film color profiles from ACES, CG, Rec 709, and that's hugely helped once bringing these images into DaVinci, because for these smaller projects I use DaVinci, which again is free software. I try to keep my my home pipeline as free and updatable as possible, so using things like Blender, DaVinci, Unreal Engine. I've bought very little software. I think Gaia and 3D Cut Textura are the only ones I've bought. This color management system has just increased the fidelity and the quality of these renders and edits just tenfold.
So your career changed to virtual art department. What kind of projects do you guys take on, and what kind of stuff?
We can use VAD for essentially previs. That could still be VAD, tied in with the real-time element of the screen share sessions and VR sessions. It can be used for environmental work. It can be used to inform lighting decisions. It can be performed for creating the previs, but for the shoot day as well. So being able to go through and run through camera moves in real time, and being able to practice for the shoot day. It's a real time form of tech viz, I'd say, where we can inform practical set decisions as well. We can even inform costume, because we can get the costumes in there with the lighting on the sets, with the sets, and we can see, say, like how reflections are looking.
It's like look dev, real time look dev.
Exactly, yeah, real time layout, real time look dev. This is definitely more for the filmmakers, these tools. These are the people that really get the most out of it. The directors, the DOPs, the production designers. These are the guys that can kind of come in, try out all their ideas in one session, or we can separate sessions, for specific people depending, and yeah, these are the guys that really kind of get the most out of it.
Where's the limit of, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this? Wouldn't it be cool if this? When there's so many people in there with all these ideas, and everyone's got the power to sort of. What does it look like?
These sessions are wild, Jimmy. Like, oh my god!
So I guess producers and people who've got money to spend and not waste on the day, they love VAD. Then I imagine
they do. Yes. It's for Yeah, for the people that understand, and I think we just need to get more people understanding what it is. People still come in with not the fullest idea of what's achievable. So there is a lot of tutoring that we also provide, a lot of education, and just saying this is what you can do. You can actually do this here if you want to. You don't need to do it. So it's actually getting people to that way of thinking. But once people are on board with it and fully understand what's achievable, I don't think many people are going to be looking back.
That's a great finish, Chris. And I just want to say, yeah, thank you for your time. That's been really great.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, man.
Absolute pleasure.
I just want to say, man, just congratulations, man. I'm just so inspired by what you've done with Big Tooth, and what you've done with it and how it's grown and the direction you've gone with it and everything. It's just awesome, like just really everything's on point. And kudos to you, man. Kudos.
Thanks, man. Honestly, that means a lot. Thank you. It's been amazing
thanks,
to catch up. And
you too.
We'll speak to you very soon, man.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye, Chris.
Bye.
Bye, man.